Hey guys, welcome back to That Japan Life. It's me, Jill. As some of you may know, I'm a Filipina currently based in Tokyo, and my husband is Japanese. I met him 8 years ago, and we have since been married and grown into a small family with the birth of our little bundle of joy earlier this year. Now, relationships such as ours are not really uncommon in the Philippines, especially in places such as Cebu, which is known not only as a place where East Asians can get quality English as a second language education for cheap, but also as a premier travel destination. Japanese-Filipino relationships are quite commonplace. If you're from Cebu or any other place in the Philippines like Cebu, you might be thinking you see them everywhere. In Cebu, for example, they're in IT Park, in Ayala, in Larsen, even in Carbon Market. At some point, have you ever wondered, what do they actually think about Filipino women? If you did, this video is the answer to your questions. So a few days ago, I was browsing the internet as one does, and I came across this article written 5 years ago by a guy named Eta. Now, Eta was at that time an intern in an academy in the Philippines. Judging from the photos, I could tell that he was an intern in an academy which is located in Cebu, where I'm from. And Eta, he's a funny guy. He wrote this article, and the main focus of the article was not actually about what he thinks about Filipino women, but about which Japanese man's face would be considered handsome in the Philippines and would be popular among the girls. Apparently, it's a big concern among Japanese men who are in Cebu, according to Eta. So what Ed and his colleagues did is they went to Ayala Center Cebu one day and then randomly asked 100 women, yes, 100 women, who they thought was handsome among their group of friends. I know, very important research subject right here. So they did that, but in his article, before presenting his findings, Eda shared 5 characteristics of Filipino women. To be fair, he did say that this was supposed to be subjective and should not be taken seriously. I skipped that part when I was reading his article because I wanted to read it with you and share to you my honest reaction. So let's get to it. Number 1, it says, "Tensyon ga takai." And if you are an English speaker, that might sound very negative, but actually this is quite positive when you are speaking Japanese. Somebody who is tensyon ga takai, or who is high tension, is somebody who is cheerful, excitable, and has a bright disposition, basically. Someone who is lively. And I would have to agree with that one. So he says that Filipino women always have bright dispositions and are very cheerful. And that, this is quite nice. He says that Filipino women have smiles that never die out. That's nice. And also, Filipino women love to sing songs. Like, really love. Daisuki datte. And he says that even on the streets, there are karaoke's and shops. Because it's the Philippines, you just had to mention the karaoke's, didn't you, Eda? To be fair, though, that is true. In small carinderias or small eateries in the Philippines, we do have karaoke's and people sing. You know what? This is true. You might think it's weird that he's including this in the lively disposition part, but I think what Eda pictures in his mind is that image of a person who is very carefree and like whistling while walking, or just humming a tune while he or she is doing something. And that is definitely true among Filipinos. I know you might be thinking, I don't do that very often, and that's what I thought too in the beginning. It's just something that's very natural for us Filipinos. But the first time I worked in an English academy in Cebu, and it was owned by a Japanese man. And so our students were mainly Japanese. And the setup of the academy was that from the entrance, in order to get to the teacher station, I had to walk through the hallway, which is directly next to the students' area. And I never noticed it before, but I apparently just keep on humming things or singing under my breath. And I noticed it because every time I would pass, once I get near the door, which is where the voice from outside would be the loudest and would be heard by the students on that lane would automatically, like in some form of command, would go and look at me as if I'm doing something crazy. And some of them would smile, some of them would be confused. And I kept doing that a lot of times. I thought it was just my footsteps. Then I finally asked one of them. And so apparently it's because I keep singing. And it's just a very natural thing. In the Philippines, like maybe you're in the jeepney, of course you won't be shouting loudly and having a concert, but we do that. We sing under our breath, or if in the streets we hear some sounds from some stores, we join in on the singing. We do that very naturally. But here, they don't do it. So here, honestly, just the other day, there was a man singing near the train station where I live. And even when I saw him and realized that he was singing, I thought, there's something wrong with this guy. And I walked on the other side of the street, and other people who were behind me did the same thing. So it's something that is very uncommon in Japan. And yeah, so I think I'd have to agree. I think it speaks to being carefree and having an easygoing disposition. So that is true about Filipino women. I'd have to agree. And then he says here, norigai. So nori is from the word noru, which is to ride. And what it means is you would easily like ride in on someone's joke. So if somebody is having a good time, you won't be a naysayer, or you won't be a negative person and try to change the situation. You would join in on the fun, basically. And that is true. So in the Philippines, we don't want to be what they call nega, so negative. And if you are a person who is nega, it's frowned upon. People don't like you. Yes, so, if somebody's making a joke, maybe even if it's a little bit offensive, maybe even if the joke is about you, maybe if you don't even enjoy it that much, Filipinos would most likely get in on the fun and join in on the joke and laugh about it. So Eda says this is especially different from the quiet disposition that most Japanese people have. And then he says that we always live in a way that is happy and joyful and, bright. Yeah, I'd have to agree with number one, Ita. That's a good description. I personally probably am not the most cheerful of Filipina girls. At least not at first. I need some warming up, but I'm not someone who would be like, hey everyone, come on, let's be friends. But once you get to know me, I'm definitely cheerful, and I would definitely write in on anybody's jokes and laugh, and I'm the most easygoing of people. So considering that, and knowing that I would probably be considered cheerful compared to most other Japanese women, then yeah, definitely Filipino women are cheerful and have a bright, lovely disposition. Number two. Oh my god, okay. I'm sorry, I forgot the Japanese word. I know the meaning, but oh yeah. Shito bukai. And he says that we are deeply jealous. This is not a very good thing, Eta. Let's see if you can support your opinion. So he says that he hears this a lot, probably from friends who have relationships with Filipino people. And there are jealousy stories. And if you are in a relationship with a Filipina, it's something that's bound to happen. So, for example, Filipino girls would check their boyfriend's cell phones. And if they ever see a picture of the guy with another girl on Facebook, then it's gonna be a terrible day for him. I have been with my husband for 8 years now, and I do not know his phone's password. Never did have to know it. I never asked, honestly. He knows my password, but it wasn't something that he asked for. It's I always tell him to take my pictures, when we're out or even when we're inside the house. And before, he would like put the cell phone in front of my face to get through the Face ID, or he would ask me to open it up. And I just got tired of that, so I just said, just put in the password. It's this. And I do not know his passcode. I never check his Facebook. But honestly, I'd have to agree. This is quite common in the Philippines. Back when I was in college, it's something that I did with my boyfriend, and I know a lot of people who do it with the people they're with. But I don't think it's something that's done forcefully, though. I think in the case of Filipinos, if both people in the relationship are Filipinos, they do it freely, voluntarily. It's something that they do by choice. So it's considered sweet. I personally don't find it sweet. I find it icky. I'm so sorry if you do that. But I did that too when I was in college. So I'm also giving that opinion to myself. I was an icky college girl. But yeah, the idea is that you're very open to the person you have a relationship with, and there's really no need to hide something. So you give them your Facebook password, your phone password, even your email, sometimes even your ATM passcode, your bank account. Yeah, Filipinos do that. The thing about Facebook, like if the girl sees a picture of you with some other girl, it's gonna be a terrible time for you. I don't think that's true. The girl would probably ask, like, who is this girl? But not in a way that she's trying to pick a fight. But because, again, the idea is you're so open to the person you have a relationship with that he or she basically knows everything about you. So if suddenly she sees a picture of you with somebody that she doesn't know, then she would wonder, oh, I don't know this girl. Who is it? Maybe you want to share to me who this girl is. That's all. I don't think it's picking a fight. I think. Let's continue. So he says that if you take a long time to reply to text messages, then it's also going to be a cause for fighting. And it's going to be like, why don't you respond to me? There's somebody else who's more important than I am, isn't there? He actually wrote those in like quotation marks. I wonder what he or some friend experienced. I don't think it's just someone else more important than I am. And again, now that I can somehow see things in the Japanese perspective, I get it. So, for example, the Japanese take their work very seriously. So it would make sense that the Japanese person would not look at the phone like the whole day, or would only look at the phone for work-related things the whole day and would not get the time to respond to you, or maybe spend the whole day studying and not open the phone, so would not get the time to respond to you. But the thinking among Filipinos is that it's a very easy thing to do. You just say, okay, see ya, gonna study, love ya, miss ya, text you later. Those are like, those would take you 2 seconds to respond. So if you are unable to do that for the person you supposedly love, it's very questionable. That's the idea. I mean, again, I get the Japanese perspective as well. Honestly, I'm also the kind of person who would probably go a whole day without responding to my husband unless it's an emergency text. But that's the thinking among Filipinos. And also Filipinos are on their phone the whole day. And again, if your girlfriend or boyfriend texts you, it would take you literally 2 seconds to respond. So the fact that you're not doing it probably means he's not that important or she's not that important. That's the thinking behind it. And he says that, of course, this is not true for all people, and that he also knows other Filipino girls who have the Japanese way of thinking when it comes to these matters. That is true. But compared to Japanese people, cases of like jealousy, being deeply jealous, are definitely more common among Filipino girls. I'd have to disagree with this one. The examples cited are definitely true, but to be honest, I have to disagree because I think this is a misinterpretation. I don't think it comes from a place of jealousy. Know what I mean? The thinking among Filipino couples is that you're just supposed to be open, and it's a happy thing. It's not a thing about picking a fight or being jealous. It's a thing about building a relationship, and it's nice. It's sweet. It's not because they're jealous. So, if you don't do those things, it's just that it's not like your typical relationship. So maybe sometimes it would cause a fight, but it's not out of jealousy. It's out of being in a relationship that does not seem to be the norm, does not seem to be what you're used to for Filipina girls. It's not because we're jealous. It's not. Stop that. It's not. Number 3. We like taking selfies. And so after the description, he writes another line. They really like taking pictures. So when he was writing this, 2015, so apparently the app Snow was very popular. Oh, that is true. I never used it. But yeah, flashbacks, Snow flashbacks are coming to my mind right now. So 2015, Snow was a big thing. And so people, Filipino women always take selfies for their Facebook profile pictures. How else are you supposed to take your Facebook profile picture, Eda? How? Am I supposed to hire a personal photographer? Just kidding. When he came here, something that he found very shocking, really very shocking, was that people would use their pictures as their wallpaper and screensaver on their phones. Is that not a common thing though? Like, I don't think that's a purely Filipina kind of thing. I mean, I see a lot of Tumblr posts. Americans also do that. People from other countries. Probably not Japan though. Yeah. I'd have to agree with that one. Not in Japan, but I don't think that's a description that's only meant for Filipinas. It's all girls do that. I mean, a lot of girls do that. The whole world. Come on, Neta. Don't have a girlfriend, do you? And it's not shocking. People do that. I actually don't do that. Right now, I have a picture of my son. And before that, I used landscape pictures. No, that's not right. I used like pictures of the beach or the Grand Canyon because I just personally found them relaxing. But I know a lot of people who do that. And I never once thought that it was strange. It's my phone. It's their phone. They can do whatever they want. And, when somebody like flips the phone and sees the picture, oh, so this phone is owned by this girl. That's actually smart. Let's see here. So the Facebook usage in the Philippines at that time is 102%. What does that mean? 102%. Measuring from the population of Facebook users, 102%. And of course, since the rate of using Facebook is 102%, we are selfie experts. Well, yes. And yeah, so the population of the Philippines is about 80% of that of Japan, but the usage of Facebook is twice that of Japan. 102% and twice that of Japan. I'm just gonna leave that because I'm not really in a mood to do math. I'm never in a mood to do math. But yeah, so I guess what he's saying is that we do Facebook a lot. Yes, we do. And we also Instagram. And there's nothing wrong with that. We like being pretty in our Facebook and Instagram pictures. Number 4, jikan ni ruzu. We're kind of loose when it comes to time. I don't even have to read the details. I'd have to agree with this one. Of course, work is a different thing. Most Filipino women I know, especially people my age, take work very seriously. And we come to work on time. Of course, if you don't come to work on time, you get fired. But let's see. Yes, when it comes to, like, I don't know, dates, parties, gatherings, meetups with friends, we don't take that very seriously. In fact, we have what we call Filipino time, which is an hour after the set time. So he says that this is a pretty common thing among South countries. I think he means some Southeast Asian countries. Good to know that it's not just a Filipino phenomenon. And he's not sure whether it's just Japanese are too strict when it comes to time, or if Filipinos are too loose when it comes to time. But somehow, as a Japanese person, he feels that Filipinos are really very loose when it comes to observing time. Sometimes, even if somebody is late, they wouldn't think it's a bad thing. And that is true, according to him, not only for women, but for men as well. Again, I didn't have to read that. I knew that was true. And he says, well, maybe you might be thinking it's because they don't get scolded if they're late. Well, if you scold them, then they're just not gonna come. I think it has had some bad experience. May pinagdadaanan. And it goes back to Filipinos being lively and always trying to keep a positive atmosphere. You don't fight someone over being late. You don't do that to your friends. You don't do that to your date. You just accept the fact that they were late and get on with the date. Get on with the dinner with the friends. Just have fun. Forget about it. Don't be too strict about the time. And so he says that you just better not scold people who are not on time. And on the other hand, just praise people who come on time. That's a good strategy, Eda. I hope it did you well. And lastly, number 5, Vijingaoe. Many pretty girls. That is true. No, really. He goes, really, there are so many pretty girls. And he says that the features of Filipino women are the features that most Japanese men would find attractive. I see. And then he goes on to enumerate the many beauty pageant titles that Filipinas have gotten in the couple of years before he wrote this article. So it's like Miss International 2013, Miss World 2013, Miss Universe 2015, Miss International 2016. And since the writing of this article, we also had another Miss Universe title by Catriona Gray. I think that was, 2017? Was it? Or 2018? Sorry, guys. And Filipinos are going to kill me for not knowing what year Catriona won. Maybe 2018. I'd go with 2018. And let's see. Has like Spanish or Italian or European ancestry. And so our features lean towards those. Yeah, I'd have to agree. So a lot of the pageant winners even have foreign surnames. Most of them are like half Filipino, half something. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, they chose to represent the Philippines, and as far as I'm concerned, that makes them Filipino. They're proud to be Filipino. And also, yes, a lot of Filipina women, have foreign ancestry, especially Spanish ancestry, for 333 years. We were bound to have them in our blood. I know for a fact that I have Spanish ancestry, but I also have the blood of a Katipunera, which was Katipunero, which was the movement that were against the Spaniards. And some people might argue that, having foreign blood does not make you the pure Filipina beauty, but I think history is part of a country, and who the Filipinos are today were made by the Filipinos of the past and what happened in the past. So I do agree that a lot of Filipinos tend to have Western features, which Japanese people apparently find attractive. I see. Okay, so those were the things that Ida thought about Filipino women. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, That Japan Live. Thank you.